What's up, everybody? I know nobody has joined me yet, but yeah, I haven't been on live here on YouTube for a while, and I've been meaning to do this. I'd like to do this every week. It's just something I haven't done yet, so I'm going to try. We're just going to have a general conversation. I thought a good topic was flipping sports cards. Not so much investing because nobody knows what cards are going to go up or what cards are going to go down. Nobody knows. They just don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows. But flipping cards is something we can all do right now. You can find undervalued cards everywhere. Hey, what's up, Kiwi? Are you here? What's up? Hey, Chef, how are you doing? Muriel. Hey, what's hi FR? What's up? Hey, what's up, Vintage Sports Flips? How you doing, man? It's been a while since I've been live, and I thought I'd come on here and pontificate with you all. Just talk sports cards flipping, which is what I love to do. I just love flipping in general, guys. I've been a full-time reseller flipper since 2011, since like midway through 2011. And I've sold sports cards pretty much that whole time, and I sold them when I was a kid, or at least tried to occasionally. What got me into reselling in general was like in the mid 2000s. I would, for some reason, I was in college. I had jobs. I didn't really need money, but I just would buy cards on auction on eBay. And then I would build these massive lots, and then I would start them at $1. And I don't even think I cared if I made money, which was the weird part. And I always made a little, like $100 here and there. So it was fun. Good. How are you doing, Matt Pat? Evening. What's up? Josh, young cards are hot. Yeah. Does Mercari have a shipping service like eBay standard envelope? They do. It's been a little tricky with me off and on with the Mercari shipping label thing working. But yes, they do have this standard envelope, which is awesome. What's up? Any tips going to my first show tomorrow? Let me see if I can figure out how to pin these or share the messages. I don't know how to do that. But if you're going to a show, this is what you need to do. You need to look at cards that people don't care about, or at least that dealers don't care about. Not that people generally don't care about, but that those particular dealers don't care about. And that's typically in the low-end bargain bins. The thing is, most people, dealers and collectors, they have thousands of cards that are in that $2 to $20 range. That takes a lot of time, and in a perfect world, they would go on eBay, do Card Dealer Pro like I do, and list it all. But most people don't get around to it. So you can get some good deals on those cards. So if you're new and you want to flip cards, I would stick with low end, go in the bargain boxes, find yourself a Justin Herbert rookie that's worth $5 and get it for $2. Outside of that, look for deals wherever you can get them. Sometimes dealers are more focused on soccer, F1, baseball, basketball, and you may be able to get their 1 or 2 football cards they have sitting there at a good price. So it's all about reading the room and reading the dealers, and it takes a little bit of practice. But that's the first topic, actually, that I wanted to talk about in flipping sports cards is the low-end play. It's bargain boxes. People don't want to deal with it overall for the most part. It's a special breed, and I'm sure if you're watching this video, you're probably one of the people who like low-end bargain box content and flipping. There's just a lot of deals in there and a lot of stuff. As you get better, you develop that sixth sense and you start to notice, oh, that's a gold signature collector's choice from 1994, 95. That's a $30 card, and it's in the 10-cent box or 50-cent box or dollar box. It's a muscle. And just like going to the gym, you get better as you go on. Let's see what else everybody else is saying. Mason Miller, yeah, the A's, he's been playing really well. Here's the thing. Mason Miller right now might be selling pretty good. It might be too late to get his stuff affordably. I'm not sure. And in 3 months, that could totally change. And that's how the card market is. Think about Wander Franco. His stuff's worthless 2 years ago. His stuff was super hot. Ellie De La Cruz is playing well, I think, but he's not as hot as he was. I mean, things change. People get hyped up on different people. Does Mercari have a shipping? I might need my glasses, guys. I just realized. Let's see if this helps. Yeah, a little bit. Does Mercari have a shipping service? Yeah, they do. Air gotcha. I can't figure out to sell sports cards on Whatnot. So you need to sign up on Whatnot. So you basically go in, I think there's a link up in the top corner, apply to sell, and you apply to sell. They're accepting a lot more people as long as you have a little bit of a track record reselling. And then you can get on and start live auctions. They're tough. Live auctions on Whatnot are difficult. I've done live auctions in person. Like in Utah, I was the auctioneer going 5 out of 5, 5, I did that. And every auction's different. One auction, you kill it and you're just like, oh man, this is my life now. And then the next auction, you're quickly humbled and you sell stuff for half price. So, or 10% or whatever it is. So I wouldn't rely on Whatnot, but it's a good thing to have in your arsenal for sure. The boogeyman's behind. Oh yeah, dude, I got Spider-Man behind me. Let me see. Am I going? That's my blockbuster limited edition life-size Spider-Man. I love dollar bins so much. I make a ton of money from them. Me too. Me too. I love them. I've been delving a little bit more in the high end for myself. I'm doing a Whatnot show, guys, tomorrow. If you want to join me for the Whatnot card show number 4, I'm giving away some cards. I'm starting everything at $2. I will publicize it a little since you're here, but I won't talk too much about it. But it's going to be a massive show. PSA 10s, Wimbies, stuff like that. It's going to be awesome. Hey, what's up, Tim? How you doing, brother? You should come on and talk with me, man. I don't know how to do that mid-show. What do you consider a good deal in dollar boxes? Because reselling on eBay costs shipping and taxes. So if you're buying for $1, do you need to sell it at least for? I mean, you probably want to be at about $3-ish on average. But I mean, I buy cards sometimes so you can lot them up or for Whatnot. Sometimes they're loss leaders on Whatnot. It's a good card. I'm not 100% sure it's going to make money, but people will enjoy it in the show, and that'll keep them coming back for more, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, I buy stuff. I mean, you should probably think to make at least, I mean, if you're spending $1, if you can make at least 50 cents to $1 profit, that'd be ideal. And obviously you want to make more. But I mean, a lot of the bargain box stuff is the $5 stuff. Like I've noticed a lot with $5 cards. I can get cards for $5 that sell for 15 quite often, like very often. That might be the better play than $1 trying to get 4, if that makes sense. A lot of times the dollar cards are going to, maybe it's going to be a Lee Smith 1989. By the way, probably my favorite design, Topps design of all time. It's not the best. It's just my favorite. It's from when I was a little kid. Plus that old school starter jacket. Tim, you're here, right? You do vintage clothing. That's like got to be like a $50. That's probably like an $80 bill at least. So far, I've invested into a lot of Jalen Waddle. Think he's a huge guy to be on the Dolphins when Tyreek Hill will retire. I mean, my suggestion always, guys, is don't invest in cards. Sell cards. Flip cards. Nobody knows. Jalen Waddle could have the best career all time and still his cards go down. I mean, look at Patrick Mahomes. He's won several Super Bowls and his stuff isn't moving much, if at all. It's going back down. It's already kind of built into his price. So investing, I don't think if you want to invest in cards, in my opinion, you probably want to invest in it much like artwork. I mean, you could definitely, I dabble in speculating and prospecting, sure. I just wouldn't put huge money behind it or money you can't afford to lose. That's probably the smarter way to put it. But when it comes to like fine art and stuff, you have a Picasso, you're kind of going to know what it's worth. It's cool to hang on your wall. So like vintage stuff could be worth it. It probably won't go down, could go up. But I'm not a big investor guy. I think the investment thing's overplayed. I think people want sports cards to be an investment, and some are. And I know people disagree with me on this, but I'm a flipper. I want to buy a card for $2, $20, $30, whatever today, and make money tomorrow or later today if possible. I try to stick to the diamond quarter boxes. I don't know what that makes me. That makes you a prudent person. It means you like work, because if you're flipping, it does take a little bit more work. But I mean, you can have I have my scanner here. I have my Car Dealer Pro. So that makes life a lot more easy when you're doing the bulk. But I mean, I think a lot of us who do bargain boxes beyond just flipping, we love cards. Like, I mean, so do people who flip high-end cards. I'm not saying they don't. But I think to be going through, like, here's a box I bought today. I bought 3 of these boxes at Savers today for $14, $15. And they're just filled with, 80s stuff, right? That's cool. Chuck Knobloch, rookie. Eddie Murray, Ozzie Smith, 87. Stuff that I'm probably just going to, I probably should price at $1.50 free shipping, but most of my stuff on eBay now just goes at $2 free shipping. We'll wait till somebody buys it, or if they buy several cards, they get a discount, or if they want to send me an offer for $1.50, I'll take it. But I found I put a best offer on everything, and at $1.50, I really don't want to go much lower, so I start stuff at $2. You can lose in the 20. Yeah, you can't really lose in the 25-cent bins. I think a lot of us too, like most 25-cent cards we pick up, we're like, oh, cool if that goes in a binder and I look at it for the rest of my life. It's no big deal. And all you need is a couple hits to make the whole stack worth it. And then you make $2 here, $3 there for hopefully perpetuity. Are college investments worth it? Personally, I love Leaf Metal and Bowman U. I mean, I definitely dabble a little bit in I bought some Matis Bazulis. I bought some Ron Holland. I'm starting to kind of post it now. I sold my Ron Holland pretty well. I'm still finding some like stuff on auction and flipping it. My whole thing is I want you guys to focus on finding a card right now that's underpriced that you can flip tomorrow. If you're going to speculate, cool. Just know that you're speculating. And for every one dude you hit big on, say you bought a bunch of Jalen Waddle, which I think is also a very good player, and you hit on him, right? You probably also, invested in Rashee Rice, right? You didn't just invest in one dude, probably, right? So it kind of evens out. And it's fun and it's exciting. And if you think of it as a fun, exciting, upside entertainment for yourself, right? Like going to a movie, you're going to lose $20, right? But you enjoyed it. So if you're enjoying it, that's a totally different ball game. And if you can afford to invest it, totally different ball game. But if you're trying to make a living off it, it's tough. 2020 is over. 2021's over. I think the bargain box play is the safest. And I'm also not really adept at the higher end plays. There's people who are better at that than me, way better. But I'm, learning. I'm trying to grow a little bit, but I'm always going to be a bargain boxer, probably primarily. But I love Leaf Metal and Bowman U. Some of the more affordable boxes to open for fun, and oftentimes you can find good stuff in there, and get some of your money back and possibly a profit at times. I think it's underrated. I think you can find that stuff at card shows in particular, card shows, and occasionally even on eBay, undervalued right now. That's worth more. Last Burbank, which was like 3 months. I don't know when it was. I'm tired, but it was the last time I went. The time before last I went to California, I was getting like Zach Eddy, Leaf Metal, Octo, autographs with 8 guys on it for like $30. I was selling them at a profit. I don't remember exactly what I made, but they did really good because people were kind of not into the Leaf as much at the card shows. They were focusing on higher end, whoever, Justin Herbert PSA cards. So sorry guys, you can find like little places to get in and deals for sure if you're looking. Which NFL players are you bullish on? Like I said, I'm not an investor. Nobody knows, guys. Whoever I'm bullish on, if I'm lucky, I'll bat 200, 300, and there'll be 7 out of 10 I'm wrong on. So that being said, there's guys I buy. I bought a lot of quarterback stuff, and I do speculate a little, but very low end, and not a ton. And I just want to encourage you more so than anything, not to listen to any of us with our advice. Does that make sense? I don't want you guys to go, well, this dude or that lady or whoever said this guy's going to go up, because we don't know. We might have an educated guess, but we don't know, man. We don't know. We don't know. Even if Charizard can't tear his ACL, we don't know if his cards are going to go up anymore. They could go down. I don't know. So the thing is, look for deals because they're out there. A lot of people in the sports card community, and this is another thing I wanted to talk about in this video with flipping, is you got to look outside the box. If you're going to a card show, it's going to be tougher, maybe not in the bargain boxes, but overall to find deals because they know what they have in front of them. You've watched my videos, a lot of you, and I go to garage sales. You can find deals on cards in garage sales because people don't want to deal with the old cards anymore. They don't maybe have the knowledge or the time or even the interest, even if it is worth money, to do that, to go sell stuff on eBay. So you may be able to buy a little collection for 100 here, 200 there, and then you find, Ricky Henderson rookies or stuff like that. You could make a lot of money buying from places that people you aren't seeing videos of as much, if that makes sense. Garage sales, flea markets, Facebook Marketplace. There's a lot of interesting places you can buy cards at. You can go to like a pop culture like Comic-Con kind of place and find cards. There's probably a couple dealers out there. So there's a lot of cards out there. A lot of people have valuable stuff in their basement and they pull it out once a year at a garage sale. Are Genesis's case hits? Yeah, because there are a lot of PSA 10 Genesis basketball on eBay for 20, but no one seems to buy them. What I would do if you're interested in that, what I would do is like you could save Genesis PSA 10 or whatever, and I would look for the auctions, the ones that may get, end at 3 a.m. and you can get one for $8 and you can go, I'm going to sell this at 25 or whatever. That's what I would look at it. But if they're not selling at 20 now, you buy, they're probably not going to go up. Really, any of them. In my opinion, but I could be wrong on that. Just like I don't know what's going to go up. I don't know what's going to go down. So who knows? They could become the next greatest thing. I have no clue. Met you at Jacksonville Card Show digging through the value boxes. Headed there tomorrow. Awesome, man. Jealous. I'm moving out to that area, to the Palm Coast area, hopefully by the end of the year. So I will be at the Jax show. I'll be whatever's going on in Tampa. Probably go down to the Hobby Slam. Is that Miami? I want to go, I guess, Culture Collisions in Atlanta. I'm going to be going and then I'm going to be flying out to Burbank at least twice a year. So I'll still be hitting some of the West Coast shows. If I can make a front row show out here, I would. Hopefully they maybe get to the East Coast at some point. But The Spider-Man behind you is freaking me out. Yeah, it's wild, isn't it? It's got my American arbitrage bandana. I'll show you. He's like a stripper. He's got a little fanny pack filled with money. It's stupid. We bought it. It's actually worth maybe like $800 to $1,000. We bought it for 150 or 175 or 125. It's just too hard to ship. So he's my friend now. He freaks me out half the time I walk in. I got a red PMG to sell you. A 1 second. Got to finish coloring it in. There you go. PMG stuff's interesting. You could back 10, 15 years ago get it a lot cheaper. There's a lot of fun stuff from that era that I feel is still undervalued. And undervalued is an interesting thing in the hobby community because it doesn't matter if you think something's undervalued. If people don't care about it, it's never going to be worth anything. Does that make sense? I love the Rave stuff. If you guys remember the Z-Force stuff, I think some of that's pretty valuable. There's a lot of those random sets, like a lot of the Pacific stuff had super low numbering and nobody really cares. You could still make money on it though, as long as you don't pay too much. Hey, is Archie here? I didn't even see Archie. Hey, what's up, Biscuit Bud? How you doing, brother? I feel like on-card autos are safer than base with dimples and condition issue. Yeah, I think I mean it all depends. There's so much nuance to cards. Like I just opened, people were like giving me a little grief, not much, but about buying a blaster box of Topps Platinum 2023 baseball, saying it's all junk. Well, I mean, the thing about it is, I pulled an autograph. I got lucky, and that sold for 16. I pulled a Gunnar Henderson rookie, and he's playing so well. That sold for 4. So I've made most of the blaster box. And of course, I'm making content. So I typically will make money on the video just through content monetization. So it's like a free roll for cards. And that's why I mean, I've always opened retail, but I opened more than I ever have before because I can make money doing content on it. And it just gives me an excuse to do what I love. I've been buying One Piece lately too, guys, which is interesting. I pulled a $40, $39.99 One Piece card out of a 650 pack today, which I have that video already edited. It'll be out tomorrow. For the people, there's a few of you who like the One Piece, at least on TikTok. You do it for, yeah, the inserts are going to go up. Yeah, well, no, I don't do cards for the content. But of course, it makes sense to me. That's a good point, Kiwi Cards. I do content because it's prudent. If I'm going to be selling cards, right, and I'm going to be flipping cards, and I'm going to be opening cards, why not monetize it? Why not make money and hedge my bets and build something bigger, right? That's what the beauty of this world is right now that we live in, right? Think about it. Do you like ant farming? Do you like Hot Wheels, Archie? Do you like Elvis, right? You could right now, Archie. I don't think you want to, but right now, if you want to start an Elvis history channel on TikTok and YouTube, doing shorts and monetizing it, you can monetize your passion. It's dope. It's awesome. So yeah, no, I make money off the content. Do I make enough? Right now, a good month, I'll make enough to pay my bills, and then I'll also make enough to pay my bills with my job, which is flipping cards and flipping garage sale items, and all that. So I'm trying to hedge my bets and get as much stuff going on as possible so that as I get older, life is easier. But yeah, no, you guys don't have to listen to me. It's up to you. I'm not coming on here saying I'm a guru. I'm not coming on here saying I know what the heck I'm talking about. I'm coming on here showing you my experience and what I am selling, not what I think might sell, but what I have sold or what I buy and what I think of what I bought, which is the opening videos, right? I'll, sometimes have to look at sold comps and stuff and estimate what I'm going to make on cards I find at garage sales and card shows, of course. And a lot of times I'll move it through Whatnot at a discount. Love your videos. Thank you, Tin Man. I appreciate that. They sold me a Victor rookie for $15. How much should I flip it for? I don't know what Victor rookie it is, man. It depends. If it's a PSA 10 Prism Silver, I'd sell it for like $800. But if it's a hoops, you might lose money. So it depends on the card. Went to the Dallas card show, stocked up on Anthony Richardson cards. Yeah, I think a lot of people are doing the quarterback thing right now. I have a bunch of Anthony Richardson. I've been selling mostly at the moment, though. I had stacked a small amount of low end of his stuff up. Yeah, either way, it's a win-win. Went to the any advice on selling lower end cards fast? I don't think that needs to be the thought process that you should have when you're dealing with like super low $2, $3 cards. What you need is more of them. To have a certain amount of card sales a day, you need to have a certain amount of listings. If I want to make a living selling, this pretty dope Will Clark card, by the way, I've got to have like 20, 30,000 cards on eBay to get 40, 50 sales a day. I just do this for fun, but I mean, I do post these on eBay and they're fun, and I do want to build that out. But you got to sell a lot of cards. So your focus should be on paying as little as possible for as best quality of cards as possible. A good one that you can get oftentimes for a penny or less a card are like the 90s baseball stars. They're not going to sell super fast, but you'll sell them for $1.50, $2, $3 shipped, and you'll make, 15, 20, 30, 40, $1 a piece, 40 cents, 50 cents. And, you're selling time that builds up. And then you mix in better cards. It's tough. Low end is a grind. It's a freaking grind. You got to love it. And you gotta probably know it's going to take time to build. And if you are like me, like I have other stuff going on that I'm not, I'm doing some better cards, also other stuff I sell, and my other channel too, which is a totally different channel that's monetized as well. And I have a podcast that does really well that makes me a decent amount of money, trash to cash. What's up? So like I have a lot of things going on. And that's how that's one thing I wanted to say with making money in sports cards in 2024. Don't rely on one thing. Don't rely just on low end. Don't rely just on slabs. Don't rely just on whatnot, on eBay or Mercari or content, whatever. Do it all. Do as much as you're able to do. And I would encourage everybody who has the mildest interest in doing content to come out and make better content than me. I don't make the best content, so that won't be that hard. But I'm saying go out and make content you want to see. If you are the guy who goes through the boxes of Pokemon cards and find stuff to flip, make that content. If you're the guy who only buys $50,000 slabs or whatever, go make that content. Just strap a GoPro on, hire somebody to film you, and just talk to people, tell them your story, and then monetize that aspect of what you do. Excuse me. You sound like Charles Hopkins, the guy who talks Cardano. Oh, I've heard of Cardano. I don't know much about crypto, but I've heard of it. Are you going to be at the National? Yes, I'm going to be there all 5 days. All 5 days of the National, I'm going to be there hanging out, guys. I hope to meet a lot of you there. You'll find me where you expect to find me, mostly in the bargain boxes. That's the hardest part. This is the first time I've been to the National, and full transparency, it's a little stressful more than relaxing as I want it to be. If I was not a content person, influencer or whatever, who cares about that label? But like if I wasn't creating content for people to watch, I could just go through the boxes and get in my zone. It's a little harder because I want to make a video like pretty much every day. There's a lot of pressure on that, editing, selling the stuff. I'm going to be on the road because I'm going cross country doing the 127 garage sale the week after, which is the biggest yard sale in the US for my other channel. So it's going to be stressful. I'm going to try to make content as best I can, but come hang out with me. Come talk. You'll probably be on video because I'll be filming though, unless you want it off and I could not use it. Without disclosing your income, do you clear 10K a month? Well, then that would be disclosing my income, wouldn't it? I make a living, thankfully. I don't use credit cards. I live off what I make. I don't go buy cards with credit cards. I have had sponsored videos, like Whatnot sponsored me on this last video you saw and gave me money to buy those cards you saw, which is awesome. I got to pay them back though. Have you had dealers not want to be filmed or no? There's a couple things. That's a good question. I haven't had that. I've had that happen at garage sales a little bit, but most of the time when I explain to people what I do, they don't care. Number two is if you are in public at a garage sale, if you are in public at a card show, I can film you. And I can use that and monetize it, and there's nothing you can do legally. Now, that's not cool. If somebody doesn't want me to do that, I'm not going to. Of course, that's not cool. You got to be cool. But there is in almost every state there, you got to look state to state, but in a majority of states, there's a one person, what do they call it? The one person rule. As long as one person consents, it's fine. And if you're in public, the issue with the filming comes in if I sneak a camera into your house and film you or something, we're having a private discussion, or if you're on the phone. If you're on the phone and the person doesn't know they're being recorded, that's against the law. So a lot of people get confused about that kind of stuff. That's why there's people doing the freedom audits or whatever they're called, and they're filming in public. People get mad and say, you can't film me. They can film you. Maybe they shouldn't. Maybe it's not cool of them to. when they obviously don't want to be filmed. That's another question, but like they can legally. So like simply, if anybody said no, I wouldn't use that footage and I'd stop filming. Simple. But could I, if I wanted to be a dick? Sure. Good morning. What's up, Bobby Witt Jr.? You out in Europe or something? But that's a good question. I like that. That's interesting. I live in Northern Kentucky. Not a lot of great card shops super close to me. I'm excited to go to Cleveland and look through some dollar boxes with you. Awesome, Colton. I'm going right after Cleveland. I'm going to Lexington, Kentucky, and I'm doing the 127 yard sale. That's going to be our home base, which I think is Northern Kentucky. I haven't been in Kentucky. I've gone cross country 2 summers in a row, picking across America for my main channel and bargain boxing across America. And I've been through, Tennessee typically when I'm going East Coast. I haven't been through Kentucky or Ohio yet, so I'm excited. Anybody tell you look like Lootbox TV? I could see that. We both got a little gray in our hair, right? I was just talking to him today. He's a good dude. Yeah, Lootbox is a nice dude. Lexington is central. Okay, there we go. I don't know much about Kentucky. Been to Missouri. I drove through Missouri last year and the year before through St. Louis. Went on the cruise up and down the Mississippi looking at the arch. I think that was last summer we did that. And then I went to a St. Louis Cardinals game, and they whooped the Cubs, which was pretty fun. Should I pay eBay a percentage for promotion or better to not? A lot of the times I'll put like 5% on a pretty base card. What I'm using with a lot of this low end, I'm just putting it up with Card Dealer Pro, and I don't do a promotion because I'll just let it sell when it sells. But in general, if it's worth, play around with it. I wouldn't go much more than 5%. I don't think you don't want to use the suggested rate, in my opinion, because it's too much. And I don't know if it matters. But if there's somebody that has 7, I don't know, with sports cards in general, I don't think about it that much. I do use it more when I'm trying to sell a t-shirt or, a piece of glassware. If you guys look at my eBay, which is public, you guys can go click on my links with eBay and you can see what I sell. Like here's just an example of what we sold today on eBay. It's not just cards. I love cards. That's my favorite. But somebody just bought a bunch of cards. Dope. Somebody bought a ton, like 10. I sold a Oscar de la Hoya poster today. That was pretty dope. But let me show you some of the other stuff we sell. That's not just sports cards, but we sell a lot of sports cards. My girlfriend, Dawn, she does a lot of cool stuff. We sold this, like I usually say stay away from dolls, but we sold this for 35 today or yesterday, 35. We sold a bunch of Swedish plate sets this month. The last couple of weeks, we paid $2 a piece at Sabres, or no, DI, Desert Industry, and we made about $600 so far on them. So we sell all sorts of stuff, not just cards. Louisville, Kentucky has some nice shops. Yeah, I've heard of what's that? Roadshow, Kentucky Roadshow or whatever. Carrie, tell me to stop being a coward and go to the National. Gabe. It's Gabe, right? I know. Go to the National, dude. Hang out with me. I'm going to here before you go to National, bro. I'm going to Front Row in Phoenix in like 3 weeks. Will you go to Front Row and we can hang out? Go to Front Row. I know you don't like Front Row as much, but just go. We'll do a little collab. But yeah, go to Nationals. It's my first one too, dude. Here's the story of last year's National. I was about to go cross country because it's the week before my big trip. And no joke, this is not meant to be braggy, but I've done garage sale content for a while and card content for a little bit. So I've been mentioned a few times by Gary V in his stories and stuff, Gary Vaynerchuk. He messaged me, him and his crew, like personally through his Instagram and said, come out and talk to me at the National. I'll give you 5 minutes or whatever. And a lot of people did. You probably saw that in the National. He didn't just reach out to me. He reached out to a bunch of sports card people. And I wasn't planning on going to the Nationals. And I almost flew out for that, but I was like, the ROI, return on investment, probably wasn't there as much as I wanted to. I started doing content because of watching Gary Vee. So I'm hoping I get to meet him and talk to him. I did meet him briefly, very briefly here in Vegas about a month and a half, 2 months ago. But so I missed out on that opportunity, and I don't want to miss out on any more opportunities. This is, my full-time gig. So, and I also want to live as interesting of a life as I can. And since I'm blessed enough to have some cool opportunities, I want to experience them, So I'm going to go for it. And, if it don't work out, it don't work out. Going to catch a Guardians game while there. I was looking, are the Guardians in town? I don't know if they are. I do plan the trip around going to games. So I've been to 2 Dodgers games in the last year. I'm not a big Dodgers fan, but I go. I wanted to go to the Angels last month for Front Row, but they weren't in town. The Dodgers were. When we go to Arizona, Diamondbacks are playing, so I'm going to see the Diamondback. I'm going to get a Diamondbacks ticket. We're going before we get to Cleveland because we were driving from Vegas. I'm going to go to Chicago. I'm going to see a Cubs game at Wrigley. We were initially planning on trying to get all the way out to Boston. I don't think I am this year. But once I move to Florida, I'm going to try to hit as many East Coast. I want to hit every MLB stadium if possible and go to a game. I got to bring my glasses, though. I went to a Dodgers game in October and forgot my glasses, and it sucked. I couldn't see anything. I can't see without my glasses, basically. Hey, hope all is well. How do you deal with buyers who say they didn't receive their package? That's a good question. First off, you check to see if it says delivered on eBay. If it says delivered on your end, there's nothing else you have to do. You just tell them, go check with your neighbor, or you can ignore them. It doesn't matter because it's delivered. Something could have happened with the post office. The polite thing to do would be like, check with your post office, tell them to do that. If it doesn't say delivered and the post office lost it, you're just out of luck. Refund them. It sucks. I had the post office recently, this last month, send back like 30 cards. It felt like maybe not that many, 10 or 15. A few got lost. I had to refund a bunch of people because one post office worker does not understand eBay standard envelope and thought it needed more postage. So that kind of screwed me up a little bit. And it's not my fault. I've had to stop going to certain post offices because of stuff like that in the past. But the thing with business is you got to remember this. I read something today. I don't know which company it was. It might have been Walmart. They said returns were like 14.7%. If you're running a business, expect loss. Loss should probably be 5% or less. So for every 100 cards you send out, I would expect to have to refund 5 of them just as a business expense. Hopefully it goes great and you don't have to refund any of them. But some months you got to refund 10 of the 100 because 2 months you didn't refund any. It kind of averages out. So expect to have to refund a few people, and fingers crossed it's not the $1,000 flip. It's the $3 $1.50 sale or something like that. Try answering all of my questions. Big fan and enjoy. Oh, thanks for answering. You're welcome. Yeah, I'm trying my best, guys. I'm on my own and I'm trying to read them as I go. So I may miss a couple. If you want to put like question marks by it, I've heard people do that before. That way I don't miss it. I want to try to answer as best I can. I do want to emphasize, guys, like I said, nobody knows the future of card values. And I do this for a living and I have some knowledge, but nobody's a perfect expert. Nobody knows everything. There's definitely things you could watch my videos and go, I'm not good at. And there's probably, to be fair, there's things you can go, oh, Carrie's really good at that. And we all have that. And we're all just out here learning together. And the more that we can share and collab together, whether it's just through comments or through videos or through DMs or whatever, and help each other out, the better off we're all going to be. You know, I'm not a proponent of hobby positivity or hobby negativity. I don't really care. You know, if there's bad people, get rid of them. If there's good people, celebrate them. Fine. But I'm just worried about let's help each other and make some money and block out all the noise. You know, and if you feel like watching drama, go for it. You know, maybe post while you're doing it. You know, on eBay. I do. Love your videos. Thank you, Diane. I appreciate that. Hey, I love that all that you do, man. I try to like every video. Thank you for that you post and watch it all. All I can say is you inspire me and keep up the good work. Thank you, Bobby Witt Jr. I appreciate that. I'm pretty sure you're not the real Bobby Witt, but probably a KC guy. Are you a Kansas guy or a Missouri guy? I've been to Kansas City. I love Kansas City. Thrifting, the other side of Terry, the thrifting reseller side, the thrifts. I think you guys have one called Red Thrift Store or something that was really good. You guys got the barbecue. I like Kansas City quite a bit. It's muggy. It's pretty muggy out there, which I can't complain. I'm going to Florida, which is going to be worse. I do whatnot. I thought somebody was going to say, do you wear wigs? Will you wear wigs? When will you wear wigs? I do. And someday I want to wear wigs. I do whatnot, guys. I'm doing a show, the Whatnot Card Show tomorrow. It's a big one, guys. Whatnot, basically spotted me some money to make this big show. So come in. I'm sure some stuff will go under value. Some probably will go over. That's how auctions work. But come hang out if nothing else, guys. I'm going to give away some cool cards. I got an Anthony Richardson PSA 10 numbered to 199 Mosaic draft debut. I'm giving those away, or just come in and talk like this. I mean, I want my auctions to be a place just to hang out, like alive. And if you bid, obviously that helps me and I appreciate it. But no pressure, guys. I don't want to be the guy that's, shilling or begging for bids. Just bid if you want. If I'm doing my job good enough, you'll be bidding. And if I'm not, then The bids will tell me that, and that's all I need to know. What's the name of the whatnot? American Arbitrage. So I'm American Arbitrage. It's my main channel. So when I started Whatnot in 2021, they brought me on. I was in the toy section mostly, and occasionally you'll see me do a regular garage sale style auction. I kind of stopped on that. A whole nother thing is me and my buddies from the Trash to Cash podcast. We have our own website through District called dibdit.com, like dibs. And most of all of my regular style auctions are going to be on Dibdit from now on. By the way, if you guys are looking for a place to sell cards or do live auctions and breaks, I'm accepting applications on Dibdit right now. It probably will be slightly better fees overall. We could talk about that. I might even be able to help with the fees a little bit. But yeah, I'd love to have some more sports card people over there. But it's obviously not eBay or whatnot. It's still growing. But we had auctions all day on Dibdit today for media. So people were selling LPs and they were selling VHSs, they were selling CDs and stuff like that. I sold 0 items today and lost $4 on a Givey. It happens. It happens. The thing with Whatnot is consistency and the willingness to lose a little bit to build up your site. Basically, doing content helps a lot. It does give you a little bit of a boost, especially at the start. And guys, I had zero. I mean, I had a business Instagram with my old shop and stuff, but I had zero personal social media, like for content wise, before November 2019. I was 0 at everything. And I didn't start my sports card channel till February of last year. So you can do it. You could start today and be, 6 months from now, have a massive following. Look at people like, what's his name? Clever Cuban Sports Cards. He started, I think, within the last year, and his stuff's great. And he has a great following on Whatnot. He just talks cards, front facing stuff. He doesn't do the box openings as much as I do. And it's great stuff. Do you also project loss on percentage of your buys simply because nobody ever buys it? I think that's fair. I don't factor it in like on pencil and paper and spreadsheets, but I do think about that. Yeah. And something I think about a lot is, say I buy a stack of, or lately I've been thinking more about this. I buy a stack of 200 cards. There's 50 $2 cards. There's 50 dollar cards. So that's $150 or whatever. And there's one $50 card, let's say. So I have 200 cards or whatever, right? Or whatever that ends up being. It's like 71 cards. I'm doing the math in my head. You can, when you're figuring out what you pay per card, just do a cost average. So I ended up paying $2.80 per card. Even though one of those cards was 50, some of them were 2, some of them were 1. You could just say each card's $2.80. So that you could do that if you want. I don't want to give too much financial advice. Definitely talk to accountants and people like that for that. Yeah, man, I love what you do and what others do, and that has inspired me to make a channel. That's awesome, dude. I love it, man. Make channels, guys. Talk about what you want to talk about. Just do it. It's fun. It's fun, and honestly, it's changed my life. I make a living now. That's not the right way to put it, but I double kind of what I could make because of content. And if I had a rough month, I might be able to live off my content alone one month. But the goal is to have my eBay booming, my Whatnot booming, and on eBay, just for example. And the eBay is my girlfriend and I share an account. It's her account. But just so you know, our eBay, we've sold over 1,000 items in the last 90 days. I have 8.8 thousand active items on eBay. So I'm a reseller, guys. And I sell probably 300 to 600 cards a month on Whatnot. So we sell. I'm a seller, but I make content about it and I love it. So I do both. They're both kind of separate but similar jobs. Do you prefer cards? I prefer cards over garage sale items. I've kind of been a little burnt out on garage sale stuff lately. It's probably why you haven't seen as much garage. I have garage sale footage I need to edit. I haven't had a massive buy. Part of the excitement of moving out to Florida is being near my buddies like Dave, ADHD Dave. And I know when I'm around my buddies, I'll be a little more focused on my main channel as well as my card channel. But honestly, if I'm being honest, my card channel is my priority. If you look on my graphs, like for example, and I'm proud of this, and this is something you can do too. My impressions on Instagram, I'm almost at 1 million this month for my card channel. And I'm at like 200,000 or 300,000 on my main channel. And I have 122,000 people on my main channel and 40 something on cards. So you can, and I had more people on my cards watching my card channel when I was in the 20,000s. So it's kind of what you focus on, and making content's definitely a skill that you can learn. I'm not particularly gifted technologically, but I have certain skills that I've figured out over the years. Anybody can do it. Yeah, guys, feel free to share your Whatnot usernames, your YouTubes, obviously channels. If they're not the names you have right there, share them, guys. Follow each other, support each other. We're all in this together, guys. We can all find deals from each other to flip, or PC items from each other to keep for ourselves. We're a community, and we always should try our best to act that way. You use the words Dave and focused in the same sentence. That's funny. It is. You're right. That's very fair, BAA Sports. Dave is ADHD. ADHD Dave. ADHD Dave. I always mess up that name. But if you know Dave, there's a couple things. I'll give you some inside baseball, which some of you guys may glean from watching him. He's super motivated, and he gets a lot of crap done because of his ADHD. He's always working, and he's good at it. He lets you in, and this is like my regular reselling world. He lets you in on a lot of his inadequacies through his Flipper channel and through the podcast. I do too. We let you guys in on that stuff, so you can see that we're just normal people learning or struggling or growing or whatever. But he's good. He's a better picker than people give him credit for. And I get a lot of stuff done when I'm around him, because like the cool thing about Dave, I've always loved friends that, like, do you guys have like friendship groups where one of you guys is always like, there's the one person who plans stuff and then the other people just do whatever? I'm not the planner. Dave is the planner. If I'm around Dave, I know we're going to make fun videos together. I know, like, I'll go to Disneyland or something because he'll plan it, because he's just like that. He's like, that's how he thinks. And I'm not like that. I'm a person who just goes with the flow, a little bit of a hippie. And sometimes I'll plan stuff, but they don't go well. That's why content's tough to be consistent with. ADHD is kind of like a superpower. It really is, if you can harness it. And it's sometimes a nuisance and a problem, but like ultimately it can be a superpower. And Dave talks about that too. I bookmark your show for tomorrow. Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Once again, feel free to bid, feel free to hang out, no pressure. But it'll be fun. If nothing else, you can kind of just see how I do, see if cards are going for eBay values or below or above. It'll be interesting. I'm curious. Will you miss Vegas, the Vegas card shop, when you move to Florida? That'll probably be like the number one thing I miss in Vegas. It's kind of just bland here, like the terrain and stuff, and it's hot. I miss the greenery of Utah, and Florida's super green, which I like. I like the vibe in Vegas, and Florida's pretty similar in vibe, but I'll miss that shop, and I will try my best to visit it a couple times a year. I definitely will. 702, guys. And I'm sure, in fact, I'm positive they give me a little better deal because of the content, because I brought a lot of people to their shop. They haven't paid me anything, guys. And I will say this, I guess you could say they've given me deals probably above what I deserve because of the content angle, but their shop's great. Seriously. But I was in Florida for like a week, and I found a couple shops that I'm like, maybe not quite as good, but they're good enough. And I tend to have the knack of finding good shops wherever I am. A 702 is pretty special, though. But my old shop in Utah, I had a brick and mortar antique shop. And in that strip mall, outside strip mall, was a card shop. And he was an old dude who didn't update his stuff. And I got a lot of deals. Like, he would have these boxes of like Detroit Lions boxes for $10 or $15. And I'd go in, this was like during 2019, 2020. And I'd go in and there would be like Matthew Stafford blue parallels to 100 or whatever. Like, there was just great stuff and rookies. And he had these garbage cans, literal garbage cans filled with 25-cent grab bags. And what I was noticing is they had a bunch of the 2012 Prism on them. And at that time, 2019, 2020, that stuff was booming, even base. So I'm like, at a quarter, I can't lose. I opened a bunch of them. I got a Giannis rookie in the height. It was like a pinnacle rookie I sold for $70 out of a 25-cent. So you can find these around you. Your area might be a shop area. Maybe you have a great card show. Maybe the Facebook scene is really good there. Maybe the garage sale scene is hot there, or flea markets. Florida, dude, flea markets. It's another thing with Florida. Every time I go to a flea market, I should be able to get one or two American arbitrage flea market videos, but also a flea market sports card video. And if you go look at my videos, those do really well. And they're also interesting and they're fun. And there's like some different negotiations. It's fun. I don't know when he has time to sleep for real. Yeah, he's not a huge sleeper. Neither is Dawn, my girlfriend. She can't sleep very well. I'm not the best sleeper either, more for anxiety purposes than I am the ability to sleep. I'm an anxious person. Ever since I started watching your vids, I have been digging through the value bins so much. It's so fun. It really is, guys. There's like I've said about it, I've talked about it in the videos before. It's therapeutic. How many of us, and maybe we didn't do this as kids, some of us started last week or in 2020, but a lot of us collected or at least bought some packs of cards when we were kids. And I used to love going through cards. And I can connect very specifically. Maybe this is why I love bargain boxes and deals so much. I moved from California to Utah, from Pomona, California to Farmington, Utah when I was 10, 1994. I'm a pretty social person, never really have that much trouble making friends and stuff. But there was that summer I moved there, I didn't know anybody. So I didn't have a lot of friends. So I'd spend a lot of time in my room. I'd watch baseball on the TV. And I remember for some reason, it felt like every Saturday I would take out all my cards and I would organize them. I would organize them by team one week. And the next week I would organize them by year or set. Or the next time, maybe I would separate the Frank Thomases or whatever. And it was therapeutic. It was fun. I would look at the back of the cards. I still vividly remember this from 1994. I like a lot of players from that era, but part of the reason I like Gary Sheffield was this. I turned around a card. I thought, oh, Gary Sheffield's a baller, dude. This guy's really good at baseball. He's mashing home runs and stuff. I remember turning around his card and going, oh man, dude, this dude's only 27. Because it's 1994. He's born in 1967. I remember this for some reason. I'm like, he's going to be around for another 10, 15 years. So I get to watch him play for a while. Maybe I was thinking of investing as a 10-year-old. I don't know. But maybe I thought this card was going to go up because of that. I don't know. And he did play like another 10 years or so. But I have like, we all have these connections. It's a lot of us to sports cards as a kid. I remember a Joe Carter card that was in the case. I think it was like $6. I don't know if I thought about this every time I went, but I never bought it because I wanted to open packs. And my allowance was $5, and it was, I think, $6. And my dad would have gave me another $1, I'm sure, but I just never did. So I'd open packs. I used to love Triple Play. You guys remember Triple Play? Because it was cheap. It was like 75 cents, I think, in 92 and 93. I'm off on a tangent, guys. I'll get back to the question. I got a message from PSA saying I get a $50 off. I just got 2 cards sent and only had to pay shipping and taxes. Thought that was cool. That's awesome. That's cool that they did that they offered you a good deal. Good for them. That's awesome. What's the best card you've gotten? That's a good question. I mean, I'm not the guy getting the one of one, whatever logo mans and stuff, but I've had some cool. I know a lot of people say you never get anything in the bargain boxes or in the retail boxes, but I have in the past. One time I pulled a Jason Tatum silver prism rookie back in 2017. I sold that for like 260 something before the pandemic. It was a huge card. It's probably worth more now. Well, no, the raw probably isn't worth that much anymore. Graded though. I pulled, I pulled a 1/1 T Higgins black prism out of Draft Prism in 2020. And it had a big mark, like I think it was a mark and a dent. So I ended up selling it for a lot less than I probably could have because of the damage. So I've had some big pulls. Card wise, I mean, some of the biggest cards I've ever had are going to be in the auction tomorrow. I got I have a numbered 8 CJ Stroud auto from Wild Card. But yeah, I typically don't have much that's beyond like 250, 300. Greek Jets fan, you're a big inspiration to my sports card collecting and selling. That's awesome, man. That's so cool. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you for telling me that's inspiring to me. So thank you. Let me see. Suck at sleeping, maybe because I watch breaks too much. Dude, I'm terrible. Like I'm an anxious person. So sometimes I can't sleep well because of that. If it's always about the money, then it's not fun. You got to enjoy what you do, which I think everyone can tell you do. Exactly. Thank you. I'm glad you guys see that. Here's the truth, guys. I went to college. Some of you know, and some of you know the joke that I got 3 degrees in college. I did. I got a history degree, a BA in history. I got a BA in Spanish. I'm fluent in Spanish, and I have a BA in political science. I was initially going to go to law school. Then I decided I wanted to be a history professor, and then I started reselling before I went back to school. So I mean, at this point, it's been like 11 years, and I'm not the best employee, but theoretically, I could probably get a decent job, especially with my background with building social media stuff at this point. But I love this. I'm selling baseball cards as a 40-year-old. It's exactly what I wanted to do probably at 12. Exactly. So I'm living the dream, and it's cool to live in a time where we can live our dreams. It's hard. There was times, especially when I had my shop, when I started my first brick and mortar, where like it was like dollar tacos if we were going to eat, and I was like in the negative, and I was like, how am I going to pay rent this month? So I mean, it's a struggle. It's like you don't know how you're going to make it sometimes, but if you love it, it's worth it. Do you ever get competitive when digging through the bargain bins? That's a good question. As I've resold longer, I've gotten less competitive, because one thing you realize about sports cards and about garage sale thrift store stuff is there's too much stuff. There's a ton of crap out there, guys, ton of junk. So with thrift store stuff, for the most part, I don't get too upset when I don't get something. Occasionally I'll get competitive. When I started, I was super competitive. With sports cards, I'm not highly competitive, but if we're going through a bargain box here next to me and you bought a downtown for $5, which is probably not going to happen, but it could, I would be jealous. And then I might be competitive at that moment. So yeah, with sports cards, I could see myself getting a little bit competitive, and it's fun to be competitive. I'm competitive with the social media stuff, probably more so than anything. I think with social media, it's helpful to have a chip on your shoulder at times, to want to prove something. It's not always healthy. It's not always good for you. It's not always fair to the people you're competing with, who may very well be. I mean, like, it doesn't mean you dislike them, but like, you want to win them. If that makes sense. So I did that a lot when I was doing my other channel. I've been better at that with sports cards. I still care, but when I was growing on TikTok, especially, I was trying to pass everybody on TikTok, and I got to the point where I was the biggest garage sale, yard sale, thrift store channel on TikTok. I have 900,000 followers. Then my buddy, Thrifter Sifter, who has 1.2 million now, and he was a dude, great dude, by the way. I've hung out with him. We went picking together. We stayed in Airbnb and hung out, and we're buddies. I taught him initially some of the tips that I had learned from starting early, and what he did was he did it better than me. He took some of my advice, did his own thing, and made better content than me. And he deserves every bit of the success he had. And for a time, I was super competitive about it. Now, I don't know if it's that I've given up beating him or whatever, but it also really doesn't matter. And he's a good dude, and he deserves it. My dad used to give me a football card every time I scratched his back. That's cool. That's awesome. I have my dad passed away in 2015, but I have sports card memories with my dad, him taking me to the card shop every Saturday for years, pretty much almost every Saturday. Good dude. Let me see. Any tips on my stream tomorrow? Be positive. Be positive throughout the stream. If you're getting your butt handed to you, which may happen and still happens to me often, use that as a time to show the people watching the kind of seller you are, or the kind of reseller, the kind of content person you are, right? I always think about this with eBay. Like, if somebody leaves you a negative on eBay, always comment, you can reply on a negative on eBay, but don't reply to the person that's leaving you a negative. Reply to the person who's going in there reading the negatives that you have, the person who may be rooting against you or maybe considering not buying from you because of a negative. So if somebody says this person, sent a card and it got all messed up in the mail and whatever, and I would go, okay, well, I'm so sorry to hear that. We always offer a full refund. Please contact me so I can refund that. So I'm answering to the other person. So if you're having a tough auction, be positive. Go, I appreciate you guys so much for being here. Let's find something you want. What are you guys interested in? Is there a certain player, whatever? Awesome. And if you sell something for under comps, this is huge for me. If you sell, and I see this happen a lot, and it's hard because even I get bummed out when I sell something super low, especially because I can sell it on Instagram for full value easy, or eBay or whatever. Congratulate them. Try to congratulate people as sincerely as humanly possible and tell them good win. Because I tell myself, and I have to tell myself sometimes, because you can get discouraged at times, How can I be the bargain box guy, right? The guy going in finding deals, right? From other people who are very gracious with after I meet them after they're in a video where I show that I found a $20 card in their $2 bin, right? How can I be the guy that's going through bargain boxes and then not expect people to find deals from me on a whatnot? That would be absurd. You guys hopefully are better than me at picking and you find the deals that I missed in my show or whatever, and you go flip it for the profit. I can't be mad at that. I should encourage that. That's who I am. That's what I do. So it's not always easy to do, but yeah, try to be positive. If you have social media, Instagram, put Instagram stories out with the links. I do that as much as I can without being too annoying about it. Build your social media over time. That will help a lot to grow your whatnot initially. But there's a lot of people who don't do a lot of social media that are successful on whatnot. It's because they're consistent, and you might have to eat dirt a little while until you get the clientele coming in. But have vision that this is where you want to go and you're okay investing in yourself, meaning taking some losses along the way. I had a brick and mortar store in Utah, and one year I gave away $500. That was I wrote it off, but for Christmas we gave away $500 cash, for example. I lost $500 on that, but I did it for building the brand. Hi, what's up, Aiden? How are you doing? What was the most expensive card that you pulled? I mean, at the time that Jason Tatum was like $250. I haven't pulled anything much bigger than that. I mean, I definitely pull a lot of like mid-range stuff. I've pulled some 50, 60, 70, $80 cards. In one piece today, I pulled a $40 card out of a $6 pack. I mean, that's realistically what you're going to get. But I tell people with boxes all the time, this is my hot take on boxes, and it's not that hot of a take, really. You are buying entertainment. When you go to a movie, you're not expecting to get, to shake hands with the actors and get like all these souvenirs when you walk out the door. You're paying to go watch a movie, right? And you leave and you don't have anything other than your memory of the movie. When you open boxes, I think people kind of think that they're owed valuable cards in those boxes. It would be awesome. And sometimes the product is so hot that you will make money on opening at times because they're so good, such good odds. It's so hot or whatever, and you lucked out and found the product. But you got to think of opening boxes as an entertainment cost, right? It's $20, $30. Instead of going to a movie, instead of going out to eat tonight, you bought a box of cards from Walmart. It's entertainment. The cool thing about cards is you should be able to recoup a little bit back, especially if you're willing to sell $2 and $3 cards, right? You maybe get five $2 cards, you put them on eBay. I do that. Like, I'm religious about that. Like, I'll post almost anything decent most of the time back on eBay to recoup my money. Also, I do the content around it now, which allows me to buy more because most of the time I'll break even. And sometimes I make a lot on those shorts, believe it or not. They can go viral, and TikTok starts paying a little bit better nowadays than they used to. So it's fun. I can do what I enjoy and make a little money on it. But basically, think of boxes and the entertainment cost. I don't know how I got on this tangent. I don't know what I was talking about, guys. Sorry. That's something that's on my mind, though. What's up, Logical Collectibles? All is well. How are you doing? I hope all is well with you. I ended up pulling for a customer a Bo Jackson, Brian Bosworth dual auto to 2 today in my shop. Thoughts on Leaf dual. I love Leaf products. I love Leaf better than Wildcard. I would say Leaf is probably my favorite, maybe my favorite company overall. The cool thing is there's some negative effects of this because it devalues some stuff. They are bringing quality people autograph cards to the masses affordably. I got a Joe Montana autograph the other day to put in whatnot. I think I lost money on this particular card, but it was $40 in a bundle deal, I think. So I might have got a little off that sticker. But a $40 Joe Montana rookie, or not rookie, but autograph card, that's insane. That's a great value, I feel like. And, if you get that on an upper deck card, not upper deck, but like a Panini card is probably going to be $20, $30 more. And realistically, what's the difference? Realistically, honestly, a lot of times the Leaf cards look better, even being unlicensed. So historically, the last couple years, that's been a decent bargain box play for me. I think more people are turned on to this. They realize that Leaf's undervalued. So the value, I feel like, is coming up a little bit. But historically, the play has been at a lot of card shows is buying these $5, $10, $15, $20 Leaf autos of good players and flipping them for a $5, $10, $20, $30 profit because the player is good and the card should probably be worth a little bit more. But like the Joe Montana, for example, they've made so many of those lately. Same with Pete Rose. He's really undervalued his auto by signing so much. But it's still cool to have a Pete Rose auto. Stan Musial did that a lot. If you guys don't know the history with him, he signed so much towards the end of his life that his autos are. You can look at it this way: they're not worth a lot. Or if you're a true collector, you can get a Stan Musial autograph super cheap and have it in your collection, which is what side are we on? Sometimes we're on the collector side and want it cheap, and sometimes we're on the flipper side and want to sell it for as much as possible. So, also, I doubt you remember me, but I'm the card shop in Indiana with the wall of penny cards. Did I go to a card shop in Indiana? Or did you show me a picture? I'm trying to remember. The wall of penny cards. That's awesome, though. I'll be honest, guys. It's hard to remember, especially with me, people's names, especially if I've only met you like once or twice or talked to you once or twice. It's not for lack of trying. So if I ever say, hey, dude, or bud or something, remember, it's too many people to remember everybody. I try. No, I've DM'd you a few times on IG. Awesome. Yeah, it's tough with IG. But over time, though, man, the more we talk on DM and I try to respond to everything, the more I get to know you. It just takes a little time. I'll remember you now, though, Logical. This is the thing. Like you say a comment like this, I realized that I didn't remember. Now I'm going to remember. That's how it works. So I'll do better, man. But that's awesome. A wall of penny cards. I love it. I respect it because you're celebrating the cards and not so much the value. I would hope they're like penny cards that you think are cool or that look awesome or that have some sentimental value to you. Hey, what's up, Piqua? How you doing, brother? Danny, how you been? Who do you PC? Utah Jazz, University of Utah Utes, in their Utes uniform, because that's where I went to college. Oakland A's. I don't see him as much as I'd like. I'd like to PC Ruiz. I haven't really been following him, though, this year. I did see him when he was down here in Vegas about a month ago. Outside of that, I'm not really like, I grew up with football. I grew up a Chargers fan, but I was very casually a Chargers fan. I tried to get into the Raiders when I moved down here. I just don't really, I kind of like them more because I've lived here. What I'm excited about is moving to, the Palm Coast area because I could see myself getting into Jacksonville, if that makes sense. They're kind of an underdog team. Their tickets are going to be a lot cheaper. Here in Vegas, part of the problem why it's hard to get into the Raiders is the tickets are expensive because you have to think if you're in Las Vegas and Vegas they have a home game and the Indianapolis Colts are playing, there's going to be a lot of Colts fans at the game and the tickets are going to be expensive because everybody in Indiana is going, I'm going to Vegas that weekend to gamble and I'm going to go see my team play the Raiders. So it's hard for locals to get a good deal on tickets for Raiders. There's no $60 tickets like there probably is at a Jacksonville Jaguar game. I should restate that, LOL. A wall with sleeves of boxes where all the cards available are. Oh, dude. See, that's intense. That's pretty wild, man. Penny boxes. That's about as intense as you can get. I think you should do one box, bro, where it's 2 for a penny. That would just be funny. See how often you fill that up. See if people go to town. That is actually interesting, though. I'd love to hear from you on this. How do those boxes do? At a penny, we're all collectors, right? Like we're probably not going to find maybe you can find stuff to flip. I'm sure you can. But at a penny, we're like, I'll pick up any player I like, right? At a penny, I don't even care. It's like play money at that point. Is there a lot of people coming in? I mean, imagine that. You're just looking for a team and you get 200 of your favorite team and it's $2. That's insane. I love that. I love that you do that. More card shops should do that because card shops should be about, I don't know. I don't want to pontificate about who it should be about. Like I have a lot of silly things like 10xing the hobby is a buzzword that I think is kind of silly, to be honest with you. Like, just make the hobby as good as you can for the people who are interested. And if you want to grow it, it's going to take a long time. And I don't know, it's going to get 10 times as big. And I don't really personally care if it does, because I make money now the way it is. And I'll make money if it 10x's or if it gets 10 times smaller. That's how you have to think. I think 10xing the hobby only benefits the people at the top, only benefits the top. You know what I mean? It doesn't really, we might sell more cards, but who knows? We probably would sell more cards, but you know what I mean? I don't think through everything I say, but I always think about that. I get a lot of set collectors and player run collectors digging through them. That's awesome. What a cool thing to do. I've thought I don't want to do another store because I've had several antique stores, but if I ever did a card shop, um, I don't care about allocation because I'm not going to have boxes. If I have boxes, it's going to be stuff I just have from collections I buy. I don't care about allocation. I don't care about boxes of cards. I probably will have some. It's going to be, I would do nothing because I was already branded for me. If I did it, this is my theoretical. I probably will never do it. It's going to be the biggest bargain box shop in America, and it will be nothing but bargain boxes, nothing but hopefully hundreds of bargain boxes, and at every price point. I might even do 2 for a penny for giggles, and then a penny, quarter, a nickel, a dime, $1, $5, no cases. I might have one box of like priced stuff or a couple boxes where maybe there's $1,000 card. I don't know. But it would just be a place where like I could imagine a place like that where it's just 30 people who love cards digging, whether it's to flip, because that's what people don't talk about. There's a lot of purists out there that are like, that look down on flippers. But anybody who's flipping cards, I got to tell you guys, likes cards because there's better stuff to flip that makes you more money than cards. You know what I mean? So we all love cards, whether we focus on flipping, because in my mindset, I don't want to be wasting my time. I got to make money and this is my job. But like if I worked full time as a doctor or something, then I had extra money, I'd probably be buying cards, probably still flipping on the side because it's fun. But I get that's how I run my shop. I only sell a handful of sealed. I've got about 500,000 cards available in my shop under $10 each. I love it, man. That's awesome. That's so cool. That's such a good idea. Are you doing shorts and content on that? Because that seems like a great thing to do content on that's needed. The one thing I realized with the bargain boxing is there wasn't enough people doing bargain box content consistently. Not a lot of people editing it either, or doing, like the point of view. There is some, but there wasn't a ton and it wasn't consistent. So I kind of made content I wanted to see. And I know I would want to watch that. I'd love to see a shop that did that and like did a video. It doesn't have to be. And the cool thing is, and you could see that my videos, a lot of them do fairly decent. You don't have to have the production of a sports card investor. You don't have to have a production crew. I almost think it's better not to, because it's less overhead, and that production leads to a lack of authenticity at times. Not always, but at times. And I think the key to YouTube in the future, if you guys want me to talk about content, I think one of the biggest things in YouTube and TikTok going forward, in my opinion, I could be wrong, is authenticity, simplicity and authenticity. So the more I could just be myself and somehow have a coherent thought that people resonate with, the better I'll be off than having all these gizmos and gadgets and logos and images passing over. If you watch it, there's a guy named Sam Solek who's a weightlifter. He'll just go around the grocery store with a GoPro pointed at him, I believe, and he'll just talk for 30 minutes and he won't edit it, and it gets millions of views. And I'd love to master that. I don't know if I could, but I think that would be the fun kind of stream of consciousness content I'd love to make. I just started trying some vlog style content, trying to figure out what to, sorry, my heart logo is right where you said that, so I can't read I don't know what that said, the very last. It'll come up in a second. I can read it. But feel free to hit me up on Instagram. I'm happy to talk to you about. I love talking about content, guys. If you ever have any questions, I'm not a pro, but I've had some success with it. So I'm definitely not a guy trying to make money off talking about social media, but I love talking about it. How did you get into the hobby? It's a corny story, but it's a real story. My brother, Danny, who's moving to Vegas in a couple days, so I should be hanging out with my brother Danny more here shortly. He gave me a shoebox full of cards. 1990. I was 7, I think. Yeah, I was 7 years old, or 6. No, I was 7. I don't know. I was 6, actually. I wasn't 7 till the end of 90. He gave me a shoebox full of 1977 and 78 football, and 1990 Donruss in particular is what I remember. I liked the football, but I was really drawn to that paint splattered red Donruss cards of 1990. And for whatever reason, that kind of unlocked something in my head that made me love it. I think I might have bought some cards occasionally, packs when we were at a gas station before, or that might have been after. I'm not sure. But ever since then, I loved cards. I don't know what it was. I mean, old school wise, like I think I just liked looking at the stats, learning more about the players. I was fascinated by how old they were. I was fascinated by like where they were born. Like the stuff we used to do back in the day with cards, like actually read the stats and stuff, which it doesn't matter. People evolve. You can look at the stats now online. But at that era, when you didn't have the internet, that was a big deal. Like having a little tiny book with you everywhere. Um, that's how I got into it. So I started doing that, and I started going to my local card shop, which was awesome. And we moved to youth, and I just kind of kept doing it a little bit. I remember wherever I was, I'd be interested in buying packs. I remember going to the Ogden Mall in Utah, and they had a card shop in the mid '90s. I remember getting, I think it was a Flair '94 football, and I was looking for a Marshall Faulk rookie. And I have memories of buying, collector's choice retail boxes in the mid '90s at Kmart. Trying to get a. I remember 95, 96 really well. I loved you guys remember the collector's choice from 95, 96 basketball, where all the rookies are just like standing by a ladder for some reason, and it's like in a high school gymnasium. Iconically stupid, but I love that. Jerry Stackhouse, the Rasheed Wallace, the Brian Grant. Who else was there? There was a lot of Greg Ostertag, Utah Jazz legend Greg Ostertag, the Big O. Not the Big O, that's Oscar Robinson. But yeah, and then the late '90s, for some reason, I got into football heavy. So I was buying like Ricky Williams, packs for Ricky Williams, '98, trying to get Randy Moss. Of course, I stopped collecting like my sophomore, junior, senior year, mostly, not entirely, but so I didn't buy a lot of 2000 football, for example. I don't think I bought any, and that's Tom Brady's rookie year. Yeah, '90s Donruss Diamond Kings were here's my thesis. Diamond Kings were the downtowns, the kabooms of the early '90s for us kids. While technically the best cards would have been like an elite number to 10,000, super low numbered. Those Donruss Diamond Kings were amazing. I found a bunch in a 50-cent box, and I thought about selling them, but I'm gonna try to PC complete sets. Especially '93, I think is the one I love the most. The full color, super vibrant Dick Perez, the name of the artist, artworks. They should bring. I think Dick Perez is still alive, the guy who did the Diamond King art. If not, they need to do Diamond Kings again, and they could have some fun with it. And just they could have all the different artists, a la Tops, 70 or whatever it is. That'd be dope. I don't know why they have. I mean, I guess it's because Panini owns the rights, but eventually, I think Panini needs to do that. I appreciate you guys. I got to get back to work. I have that auction tomorrow. If you guys want to join, feel free. If you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer for the next couple minutes. I won't just leave you high and dry here, but I appreciate you guys hanging out. We had like up to 50 people here, which is awesome. Yeah, an Ermsey's Diamond King, or like a Natural, or a Bin Baller Diamond King. I mean, that could be really cool. I think the Diamond King has the history of artwork with cards, right? I mean, most of us older guys know that stuff. So still like to open 90 Donruss looking for the Nolan Ryan error card. Yeah. There's the MVP. I have a whole, you can't probably see it because it's behind Spider-Man, but I have a box with a bunch of unopened packs of 90 Donruss. I don't like love them, but I'm attached to them. You know what I mean? Like they're not my favorite set, but they're like the set of my life, if that makes sense. It's not my favorite Diamond King set. It's not my favorite design. Probably my favorite overall year of baseball cards is '94, because I moved from Utah to California that year, and I'm attached to cards that year because I did it a lot. So the Donruss, the Tops, the Fleer design, all those designs from '94 particularly, I love. Problem is opening those old boxes is they're sticking because of the UV coating. It's UV coating, right? We all know the best set is 91 Fleer. You're the first one to say that. There's got to be somebody out there who loves it. I mean, that is the ugliest design. The yellow. There's no real people in it either, right? I mean, like, who's the rookie in that set? Is Ron Gant a rookie in that set? Phil Plantier? I'm digging real deep here for that. I don't even know. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thank you all. Oh, we got another question. Were those the first inserts and parallels? Kind of, because the Diamond King started in the early 80s, if I remember right, like 82 or 83. So they're kind of like the first, yeah, I would say the first real exciting insert. Because back in the day, the inserts were the case hits. You know, they were the things people were hunting for. You see, Luis Gonzalez is all that it had. Yeah. Luis Gonzalez, Diamondbacks, and where else he played for the Astros. I was a big Craig Biggio fan back then too. I liked Craig Biggio a lot. I have no idea why. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to call it a video. Thank you guys. I'm going to try to do these every week. The goal is to actually set a day so you guys know I'm going to be doing these. I mean, I set a basic topic up, how to flip cards, because that's good for the algorithm. And also that's what we talked about generally. But we could talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. It's your time. Yeah, that is the worst part, seeing the yellow of the Fleer. But I'm having fun looking through. I got a couple more of these boxes to look through, but I'm going to post them on Card Dealer Pro so I don't feel like I'm totally wasting my time. But I appreciate you guys. I'm going to call it a video. Thank you all. Hit me up on DM me on Instagram if you ever need anything or have any questions about anything that I might be able to help you with. But thank you guys so much. I'm going to talk to you all later and have a good evening. And if you can make the Whatnot show tomorrow, come hang out. Bid or don't. It's up to you. But if nothing else, maybe hang out and talk with me. Appreciate you guys. Take care. Bye.